Welcome to a moment that is not ordinary, but transformational. There comes a time when the noise of the world fades, and you finally hear the voice within you, reminding you that you were never meant to live a small life. This is the moment when your story asks you a powerful question. Are you ready to change? Because your destiny does not begin when circumstances shift. It begins when you decide differently. Most people wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect confidence. But life does not wait for anyone. Life rewards the one who chooses courage over fear, action over excuses, and growth over comfort. Today, you are not just watching a video. You are stepping into a new chapter. This is the day you draw a line between the life you had and the life you are ready to create. A single decision can rewrite your identity, your future, and your destiny. And that decision, that transformation, begins right here, right now with you. There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world breaks, when distractions fade, and when your heart whispers something you have ignored for years. You feel it in silence. You feel it in the moments you doubt yourself. You feel it when you look into the mirror and realize that you are not living the life you once dreamed about. You see the distance between who you are and who you could be, and in that space lies the truth. Your life is not limited by your potential. Your life is limited by your decisions. Your future is not written by destiny. Your future is written by the choices you make when nobody is watching. There are people who spend their entire lives believing that change is a matter of luck, that life improves only when circumstances improve, that you need perfect timing, perfect support, perfect opportunity to begin. The world has taught you that change is an event, but the truth is far more powerful. Change is not an event. Change is a decision. One single decision has the power to end suffering, to break cycles, to start journeys, to destroy self-doubt, and to open paths that did not exist before. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. Think about your past. Every major transformation in your life came from a moment of choice, a moment where you decided to walk away or to stay. A moment where you decided to rise again or let life defeat you. A moment where you decided to speak or remain silent. A moment where you fought, where you believed, where you dared. Your story was never changed by the calendar. Your story was changed by moments of courage, moments where you said, I am more than this. I am capable of more. I am meant for more. People think change happens slowly, over years, over decades. But true transformation happens in a second. The moment your mindset shifts, the moment your belief changes, the moment you say to yourself, I no longer accept a life of limitations. That is when everything changes. But most people never reach that moment. They wait. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, the right conditions, the right people, the right inspiration. They wait for permission. They wait for confidence. They wait for motivation. They wait for a perfect start. And in waiting, they waste their life. Waiting does not change your life. Decisions do. Life does not reward hesitation. Life rewards action. Life rewards courage. Life rewards a decision that comes from the depths of your soul that says, I choose a different destiny. When you truly decide, the universe moves with you. When you truly decide, circumstances reshape themselves. When you truly decide, excuses die. When you truly decide, fear loses its voice and doubt loses its power. You don't need the world to believe in you. You don't need approval. You don't need support. You need one thing, a decision that you will no longer live in the shadows of your potential. People often underestimate the power of decision. They believe ambition is enough. They believe desire is enough. But desires without decisions become regrets. Dreams without decisions become fantasies. Goals without decisions become promises you make to yourself and never keep. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not talent, not opportunity, not luck. It is decision. The decision to commit. The decision to move forward despite the fear. The decision to break habits that have kept you ordinary. The decision to stop arguing for your limitations. The decision to stop blaming circumstances. The decision to rise even when you have every reason to stay down. Change does not start when you get more resources. Change begins when you say, I am responsible for my life. When you make a decision, you claim ownership of your destiny. You stop being a spectator and become the creator of your future. You stop hoping and start acting. You stop wishing and start building. You stop complaining and start controlling. That is the moment your identity shifts. That is the moment your narrative changes. That is the moment you stop being a victim of life and become the author of your story. The world may not notice your decision at first. The world may not respect it. The world may doubt you. But the world always bows to consistency. The world always respects those who decide to rise, to change, to transform. Decision is the greatest power you possess because decision shapes destiny. Life is not lived by those who hesitate. Life is lived by those who dare. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is not that the successful were given more chances. It is that they chose differently. They decided to face adversity instead of avoiding it. They decided to move forward when others froze. They decided to try again when others quit. Every champion, every leader, every hero, every legend. Do you know what they have in common? Not talent, not intelligence, not flawless backgrounds. They have one thing in common. They decided that they would not settle for a life of limitations. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. There are moments when life itself demands a decision from you. When you wake up and the weight of disappointment sits heavy on your heart. When failure whispers that you will never rise again. When your past tries to convince you that you are no different than you were yesterday. When fear wraps itself around your voice. When doubt covers your dreams. It is in these moments that you must answer one question. Who do I choose to become? Because every decision is an invitation to a new version of you. A decision is a doorway. On the other side of fear is strength. On the other side of uncertainty is faith. On the other side of doubt is possibility. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is not whether you deserve success. The question is not whether you have enough time or enough resources. The question is simply, am I willing to decide? If you decide, you rewrite your story. If you decide, you break free from who you were yesterday. If you decide, you set in motion a series of events that shape your future. One decision leads to another. A new belief leads to a new habit. A new habit leads to a new identity. A new identity builds a new life. Decision is the seed of transformation. Everything begins there. Everything begins when you choose. When you decide to stop living a life built on limitations. When you decide to stop telling yourself you can't. When you decide to stop letting fear speak louder than your dreams. When you decide to stop waiting. When you decide that your life is worth fighting for. The truth is you have been waiting for this moment your entire life. The world has told you that you need to have it all figured out before you begin. But that is a lie. You take the first step and the path reveals itself. You do not need to know the entire journey. You simply need to decide to take the first step. The moment you make a new decision, your environment will challenge it. Your old habits will try to pull you back. Your fears will try to silence your progress. But you must understand, growth is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Evolution is uncomfortable. It has to be. If transformation were comfortable, everyone would do it. Greatness is not a matter of comfort. Greatness is a matter of choice. Some people choose comfort. Some people choose greatness. Those who choose comfort never grow. Those who choose greatness never remain the same. Your decision determines which path you walk. There are two destinies available to you right now. One destiny leads you to regret. The other destiny leads you to possibilities you cannot even imagine yet. One destiny is the life you settle for. The other destiny is the life you build. And the bridge between those two destinies is a single decision. When you say to yourself, I choose the kind of life I want, you activate something inside you that lies dormant in those who wait for chance. You activate your internal power. You activate courage. You activate resilience. You activate the belief that you are the creator of your story. In your heart, you already know what you must decide. You already know what you are capable of. You already know that you were not born for mediocrity. You were not born for a life of excuses. You were not born to settle. You were born to rise. You were born to lead. You were born to influence. You were born to inspire. You were born to overcome. You were born to face challenges that others run from. Your battles are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. Invitations to discover the power that lies inside you. Invitations to transform. And the starting point of every transformation is decision. Not chance. Not hope. Not luck. Decision. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. When you make a new decision, something extraordinary happens. You begin to shift from who you were to who you are capable of becoming. You begin to evolve. You are no longer the person who is controlled by fear, by hesitation, by self-doubt, by insecurity. You no longer live on autopilot. You no longer accept the boundaries that once defined you. You rise above the limitations that once held you down. A single decision does not just change your behavior, it changes your identity. Because the moment you decide to transform your life, you declare to yourself and to the world, I am no longer who I was yesterday. Identity is not a fixed reality. Identity is a choice. Most people live their entire lives believing their identity is created by the world around them, by their past, their failures, their circumstances, their family, their labels, and by comparison with others. They allow society to define their worth. They allow other people to tell them who they should be. They allow doubt to write the story of their destiny. But identity does not come from the outside. Identity is forged on the inside. It is crafted in the fire of decision. You decide who you are. You decide what you believe about yourself. You decide what limits exist in your life. You decide what future you create. You decide the values you stand for. You decide the destiny you chase. The moment you make a new decision, your identity begins to reshape itself around that decision. You stop seeing yourself as the person who struggles. You start seeing yourself as the person who overcomes. You stop seeing yourself as the person who has failed. You start seeing yourself as the person who rises. You stop seeing yourself as the person who is stuck. You start seeing yourself as the person who moves forward. When you shift your identity, your actions naturally follow. Because every action you take is a reflection of who you believe you are. You act according to the story you tell yourself. So when you change your decision, you change your story. When you change your story, you change your actions. When you change your actions, you change your life. Most people try to change their life from the outside. They try to fix the symptoms without changing the cause. They try to change behavior without changing identity. They try to create new results without creating new beliefs. But lasting change is an inside-out process. Your results are a reflection of the decisions you make about yourself. You cannot have a new life with an old mindset. You cannot create new success with old habits. You cannot move forward while holding on to the identity of your past. Let go of the version of yourself that doubts. Let go of the version of yourself that is afraid. Let go of the version of yourself that does not believe. Because every limitation that exists in your life does not live in reality. It lives in your mind. Limiting beliefs are built on stories from the past. Stories of failure. Stories of rejection. Stories of self-doubt. Stories that whisper, you're not good enough. You don't deserve more. You can't do it. You will never succeed. But every limiting belief can be broken. Every limitation can be shattered. Every boundary can be pushed. When you make a new decision, you dismantle the old beliefs that once controlled you. Decision is the hammer that breaks the walls you built around your own potential. It is the force that destroys excuses, destroys fear, destroys hesitation, destroys self-doubt. When you make a decision to change your life, you awaken a truth that has always been inside you. Your potential is greater than your problems. Your strength is greater than your suffering. Your dreams are bigger than your failures. You begin to see that you were never lacking ability. You were only lacking belief. There will be moments in your journey when life challenges that belief, when things fall apart, when people leave, when plans fail, when the world tests your decision. The universe does not give you transformation without testing your commitment. Every challenge you face is life asking you, how badly do you want this? Anyone can make a decision when life is easy, but you prove your decision when life is difficult, when you keep moving forward when you are tired, when you keep believing even when there is no evidence, when you keep fighting even when the world doubts you. That is when your decision becomes part of your identity. That is when you become unstoppable. People who succeed are not the people who never face adversity. They are the people who decide that adversity will not defeat them. They turn barriers into stepping stones. They turn pain into power. They turn struggle into strength. They turn fear into fuel. They turn challenges into opportunities. They understand that obstacles are not the end. They are the beginning of greatness. They understand that failure is not proof of limitation. It is part of preparation. They understand that setbacks are not signals to quit. They are signals to grow. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision, because decision forces you to evolve. Decision forces you to grow. Decision forces you to step into the unknown. Decision forces you to leave behind the life you have outgrown. Most people fear uncertainty. They cling to comfort. They protect familiarity. They settle for a life that does not inspire them, simply because they are afraid of the unknown. But everything you want in life exists outside your comfort zone. Every breakthrough, every opportunity, every dream, every destiny, everything you want requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move forward despite fear. Courage is the moment you choose faith over doubt. Courage is the act of stepping into the unknown without a guarantee. Courage is trusting yourself when the world doubts you. Courage is saying, I will become the person I was meant to be. There will always be people who question your decisions. Some will tell you that you are dreaming too big. Some will laugh at your goals. Some will doubt your abilities. Some will criticize your journey. Some will walk away when you need them. Do not let their voices become the voice inside your head. Their doubts are not your reality. Their fears are not your truth. Their limitations are not your destiny. The world only sees the outside of your life. They do not see the battles you have fought. They do not see the pain you carry. They do not see the resilience you have developed. They do not see the strength you have built. Only you know your journey. Only you know your potential. Only you know your dreams. So listen to your heart. Trust your vision. Believe in your future. Do not shrink your dreams to fit into someone else's expectations. Do not limit your potential to match someone else's comfort. Do not waste your life trying to live according to someone else's fears. When you make a decision to change your life, you begin a journey that will transform you from the inside out. You will learn more about yourself in the process than you ever learned in comfort. You will discover your strength. You will uncover your courage. You will find your purpose. You will realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You will realize that life has always been waiting for you to make a decision, because the truth is you are not powerless. The truth is you are not limited. The truth is you are not stuck. You have the power to decide. You have the power to change direction. You have the power to begin again. You have the power to choose the future you want. One decision can change everything. One decision can rewrite your destiny. One decision can change the way you see yourself. One decision can open doors you never knew existed. One decision can take you from where you are to where you want to be. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you become stronger, because you become wiser, because you become more confident, because you become the person who is willing to choose transformation over stagnation, because you become the person who walks into their destiny without hesitation. You were not created to live a small life. You were not created to live in fear. You were not created to be ordinary. You were created to rise. You were created to overcome. You were created to lead. You were created to inspire. You were created for greatness. And greatness begins with a decision. There's a moment when the decisions you make begin to transform into habits. And this is where real change begins. Because decisions are powerful, but habits are the proof of decision. A decision is a spark, but habits are the flames that keep the fire of transformation alive. Most people decide once, only to fall back into the old routines of their life. They want change, but they hold on to the behaviors that keep them stuck. They want success, but they repeat the patterns of failure. They want progress, but they refuse to change the rituals that define their day. Decisions without action lose their power. That is why the real transformation happens when your decision becomes daily behavior. Because what you do repeatedly is who you become. Your habits are not small. They are destiny in motion. Every morning you choose what kind of life you are building. Every action you take is like a seed planted into the soil of your future. Some seeds grow into greatness. Some seeds grow into mediocrity. Some seeds remain buried because you never water them with consistency. The most powerful people are not the ones who make the biggest decisions one time. They are the ones who make the smallest decisions again and again until those decisions become a lifestyle. A new identity is built through repetition because your brain learns from repetition. Your character is built by repetition. Your confidence comes from repetition. Your future is created by repetition. So when you decide to change your life, it is not enough to say it once. You must choose it every day. Your life is shaped by the habits that support your decisions. Your success is shaped by the habits that protect your dreams. Your identity is shaped by the habits that strengthen your belief. It is not the big steps that change your life. It is the consistent ones. The discipline to wake up when you don't want to. The discipline to focus when distractions pull you away. The discipline to work when it is difficult. The discipline to improve, learn, and grow. The discipline to keep going when the results have not shown up yet. The discipline to stay committed to the vision when nothing around you supports it. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is a gift. It is a declaration you value your future more than your comfort. Discipline is proof of your decision. Discipline is the link between your dreams and your reality. People often believe they need motivation to change their life, but motivation is not the foundation of transformation. Motivation is temporary. Motivation fades when emotions fade. Motivation disappears when challenges appear. Discipline is stronger than motivation. Discipline survives when motivation dies. The greatest achievers are not the ones who always feel motivated. They are the ones who commit to their decisions, even when they don't feel like it. They have trained their habits to follow the path of their decision. They have trained their mind to act without hesitation. They have trained their emotions to support their purpose. Your habits are the voice of your character, and your character is the foundation of your destiny. People speak of destiny as if it is something that happens to them, but destiny is not something you receive. Destiny is something you create. It is shaped by your decisions, molded by your habits, and defined by your character. Your character is who you are when no one is watching. Your character is what you choose when there is nothing to gain. Your character is the values you stand for when life tests you. Your character is the truth you live when the world tells you to compromise. Your character is the person you decide to be. It is your strength in adversity. It is your integrity in challenges. It is your courage in fear. It is your resilience in failure. It is your faith in uncertainty. The world may give you opportunities, but only character can sustain success. Talent can make you great, but character makes you legendary. Intelligence may open doors, but character keeps those doors open. Skill may win a race, but character defines your legacy. Your character is built one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one moment at a time. Every time you choose courage over fear, your character grows. Every time you choose effort over excuses, your character grows. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, your character grows. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, your character grows. And as your character grows, so does your destiny. Because destiny is not an accident. Destiny is the result of what you repeatedly choose. Your future is not waiting for luck. Your future is waiting for you to decide who you are becoming. Your future is crafted by your identity, strengthened by your habits, and written by your decisions. But in your journey, there will be moments when the path ahead feels uncertain. There will be days when the world feels too heavy. There will be nights when progress feels invisible. There will be times when your decision feels too difficult to sustain. You will question the path. You will question the purpose. You will question yourself. not because you are weak, but because growth demands discomfort. Transformation requires sacrifice. Evolution requires a breaking of the old version of you, and that breaking can feel painful. But remember this, the pain of growth is far less than the pain of regret. There will always be a voice that tries to pull you back to who you were. The voice of fear, the voice of self-doubt, the voice of insecurity, the voice of old habits, the voice of the old identity. But you must learn to silence that voice. That voice is not your truth. That voice is not your future. That voice is not your destiny. Your destiny is written by the voice that says, I choose to rise. Your destiny is written by the voice that says, I will continue. Your destiny is written by the voice that says, this decision will not die in me. Your destiny is written by the voice that says, I will not quit. You cannot control everything that happens in your life, but you can control your decisions. You can control your attitude. You can control your focus. You can control your effort. And those decisions create momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates belief. Belief creates confidence. Confidence creates boldness. Boldness creates breakthroughs. Your life changes one decision at a time. Never underestimate the power of a small decision made with consistency. Never underestimate the impact of a new habit repeated daily. Never underestimate the strength of a character forged through adversity. Over time, the decisions you make become invisible forces that guide your life. Your habits will become automatic. Your strength will become natural. Your confidence will become instinctive. And the things that once felt impossible will become your new normal. Because you chose to decide. Because you chose to change. Because you chose to build the identity of a person who does not settle. Because you chose the habits of a person who wins. Because you chose the character of a person who refuses to break. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You will meet people who question your decision. Let them. You will face challenges that test your decision. Expect them. You will encounter setbacks that challenge your faith. Welcome them, because every difficulty builds discipline. Every setback builds strength. Every challenge builds character. Every failure builds wisdom. And all of them are preparing you for the destiny you were meant to live. The world will try to distract you. The world will try to discourage you. The world will try to intimidate you. But never forget why you began. Never forget the moment you realized you were meant for more. Never forget the decision that awakened your spirit. Never forget the vision that moved your soul. That vision is your compass. That decision is your foundation. That destiny is your future. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. And every day that you choose the habits, the character, and the identity that support that decision, you bring your destiny closer to reality. Not someday, not eventually, today, every day. Because it is not the world that shapes your life. It is your decisions. And your decisions have the power to change everything. There will always come a point in life when you feel stuck between the person you were and the person you want to be. And in that moment, your mind will try to convince you that change is too big, too risky, too uncertain. But here is the hidden truth no one tells you. The decision to change is never made in comfort. It is made in discomfort. It is made in those moments when you realize you are tired of settling, tired of waiting, tired of wishing, tired of pretending. Your breakthrough does not begin when you feel ready. It begins the moment you choose courage over fear. Every great transformation begins with a decision that seems impossible at first. But the moment you choose differently, even if nothing around you changes immediately, something inside you does. The way you think shifts. The way you see yourself shifts. The way you walk through life shifts. Because deep down, you know you are no longer the person who accepts less than you deserve. You may have lived for years believing your circumstances define you. Your failures define you. Your mistakes define you. But they don't. The only thing that defines you is the direction you choose next. You are not stuck because of your past. You are stuck because your mind keeps choosing the same decisions your past self would choose. Break the cycle. Choose a different thought. Choose a higher path. Success does not start with resources. It starts with responsibility. It starts with the willingness to say, I am responsible for changing my life. The moment you take ownership, you stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment never comes. You create the moment by acting. Think about every successful person you admire. They were not born confident. They were not born fearless. They were not born extraordinary. They became extraordinary because they made one decision. I will not let fear dictate my destiny. You have the same power. The moment you choose differently, life rearranges itself. The people around you change. The path in front of you reshapes. You begin attracting opportunities you never saw before. Why? Because your decisions shift your identity. Your identity shifts your belief. Your belief shifts your reality. And every time you choose courage instead of fear, the world opens one more door for you. There will be days when you feel weak, days when you fail, days when you fall back into old patterns. And that is okay, because growth is not about perfection. Growth is about returning to your decision again and again. Life does not reward the strongest. It rewards the most committed. The one who keeps choosing the dream even when it's difficult. The one who keeps choosing responsibility over excuses. The one who keeps choosing belief over doubt. If you want to change your life, change one decision today. Don't try to change everything at once. Don't try to fix every problem in a single moment. Just make one better decision. Then make another, and another. Small improvements compound into massive transformation. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. The challenges you face are shaping you into someone stronger. The rejections you experienced were redirecting you. The failures you lived through were preparing you. Nothing was random. Everything was shaping your strength. And now, this is the moment you choose your next chapter. Will you repeat your old life, or will you rise into your new one? Most people never make the choice. They stay in the same patterns, the same routines, the same limitations. Not because they don't want change, but because they never decided to change. Don't be one of them. Your life is not written in stone. Your destiny is not locked in the past. Every new decision creates a new future. You are the author of your story. You decide what happens next. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a sign that you are about to evolve. Every time fear shows up, it is asking you a question. Are you willing to step into the unknown? And when you say yes, your life expands. The world expands. Your potential expands. All because you chose differently. Because one new decision changed everything. Your life changes the moment you stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to say you are ready. You are ready the moment you decide you are. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the world to understand your dream. Move forward even if no one applauds. Move forward even if no one believes. Move forward even if the path is uncertain. Because the path becomes clear only after you start walking it. You are capable of so much more than you think. The world needs the version of you that has courage. The version that speaks truth. The version that refuses to quit. The moment you choose that version, your life transforms. Not because conditions change, but because you change. And once you change, everything else follows. That is the power of a decision. That is the magic of one bold choice. That is the moment your entire story turns. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. And that moment can be right now. There comes a moment in life when the noise of the world fades, when the excuses quiet down, when the fear stops controlling every step you take, when your heart whispers the truth you've ignored for too long. And in that moment, your life asks you a question. Are you willing to choose differently? Because change never happens by accident. It never happens by coincidence. It begins when you finally decide that the old version of you is no longer allowed to lead your life. The old habits, the old fears, the old limitations, the old patterns that convinced you to stay small. The moment you say enough is the moment the universe aligns with your destiny. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. Not the moment you plan, not the moment you think, not when you talk about it, The moment you say, "I'm done living the same day over and over," there's a version of you waiting to be born, a version that has courage in their voice, fire in their soul, and clarity in their heart. But that version cannot rise if you keep choosing comfort. You weren't born to repeat yesterday. You weren't given this life to stay the same. You were given challenges to reveal your strength. You were given failures to discover your growth. You were given pain to sharpen your purpose. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is only asking one thing: decide boldly, decide with ownership, decide like someone who finally realizes they are responsible for their destiny. Because decisions create futures. Decisions dictate what is possible. When you decide to stop hiding, your confidence grows. When you decide to stop waiting for approval, your authenticity blooms. When you decide to stop blaming, your power returns home. Every legendary life begins with a small shift, a single thought, a single belief, a single decision that says, "I will no longer betray my own potential." Life changes when you make that decision. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when it's convenient. Now, today, at this moment. And if you think that your circumstances are the reason you can't change, remember this: circumstances are not destiny. They are just the starting point. Every hero, every visionary, every successful person has lived through struggle. They faced doubt. They faced rejection. They faced failure. But they made a decision that mattered. They chose to rise. They chose to break the pattern. They chose to step into the unknown with faith instead of fear. And life made way for them. Because life always makes way for the person who decides they are done settling. They're the road ahead of you. A road no one has walked before. The path towards the life you want is not predictable. It's not safe. It's not guaranteed. But it's yours. And the moment you commit to it with your entire being, something extraordinary happens. The world begins to change around you. People change. Opportunities change. Your energy changes. Your identity shifts. You start becoming the person who once felt impossible to be. You start thinking differently, speaking differently, moving differently. In that transformation, you realize the greatest truth about life. The world does not change first. You do. Once you transform internally, reality starts reflecting your new identity. That is the power of one decision, one shift in courage, one moment of choosing the higher version of yourself. It doesn't take a lifetime. It doesn't take perfection. It only takes willingness. The decision to rise is always stronger than the circumstances that try to stop you. If you want transformation, you must understand this. Change is not comfortable. Growth is not comfortable. Becoming better is not comfortable. But staying the same is far more painful. Staying stuck in the same routines, the same environment, the same excuses. That is the slow death of the soul. Life is too short to live on repeat. You are here to evolve. You are here to expand. You are here to do something meaningful. And the moment you make that decision, your life bends in that direction. Your relationships shift. Your beliefs shift. Your destiny shifts. But only when you choose it. Some people wait for motivation. Some wait for the right time. Some wait until everything is perfect. But legends don't wait. Winners don't wait. They don't ask for permission. They don't hope for certainty. They decide, and they build certainty on the way. They decide, and they create opportunities that others only dream about. You may think you need more confidence, more time, more money, more resources, more clarity. But none of those things come first. The decision comes first. The courage comes first. The willingness to say, "I will figure it out." That is the mindset of someone destined for greatness. You don't need the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need faith in your ability to grow along the path. And here is the miracle. When you choose the higher road, life gives you strength you never had before. It gives you resilience. It gives you wisdom. It gives you people who guide you, inspire you, and walk beside you. Because once you make that decision, you no longer walk alone. You walk with purpose. You walk with destiny. You walk with the voice inside you that always believed in more. The world will not always support your dreams. People will doubt you. Fear will challenge you. Failure will test you, but every time you fall, you rise stronger. Every time you break, you rebuild better. Every time you fail, you learn deeper. You were not created to quit. You were created to rise. And every new decision strengthens that identity. In the end, it is never the distance that defeats a person. It is the lack of decision. It is never the failures that destroy a dream. It is choosing fear instead of courage. Choosing excuses instead of responsibility. Choosing comfort instead of growth. So choose differently. Decide boldly. Let this moment be the rebirth of your identity. Not a moment of doubt, but a moment of awakening. A moment where you say, I am done living beneath my potential. Close your eyes for a second and imagine the life you truly want. The energy of it, the freedom, the confidence, the peace, the happiness, the success. That life is not a fantasy. It is a possibility waiting for you to claim it. And you claim it through one choice at a time, through aligned decisions, through bold action, through unwavering belief. Your life changes the moment you decide to rewrite your story. Your life changes the moment you decide to stop repeating old patterns. Your life changes the moment you commit to your dreams with everything you have. Not halfway, not when it's easy, not only when you feel motivated, but when you decide that your destiny is worth fighting for, that your future deserves more effort, more discipline, more courage, more heart. Stand up to your fears. Stand up to your past. Stand up to the voice that tells you you're not ready. You are always ready the moment you choose to be. Decisions shape identity. Identity shapes destiny. And destiny shapes the story you leave behind in this world. So decide now. Decide today. Decide that you will no longer live a life of hesitation. Decide that you will no longer shrink yourself for others. Decide that you will no longer settle for average. You are not average. You are powerful, capable, resilient, extraordinary. You have everything within you to build the life you want. All you need is the courage to make that decision. This is the turning point. This is the moment everything changes. Not when the world changes. Not when someone saves you. Not when everything is perfect. But when you decide you are done waiting. You are done doubting. You are done playing small. Your past does not write your future. Your failures do not define your identity. Your fears do not decide your destiny. Only your decisions do. Let today be the day you step into your power. Let today be the day you take the first step. Let today be the day you walk toward your future with conviction. Because from this moment forward, everything is different. The story is different. The energy is different. The direction is different. Because you are different. You changed the moment you decided to change. You became unstoppable the moment you chose courage over fear. You became powerful the moment you said, my new life begins now. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. So decide. Decide to rise. Decide to grow. Decide to become the person you were always meant to be. And then move forward like nothing can stop you. Because the truth is, nothing can. This is your time. This is your story. This is your transformation. And now, the world will witness the power of someone who finally decided. Thank you for being here. And remember one thing. Your life will never change by accident. It changes the moment you decide to rise. You are not defined by your past, your failures, or your fears. You are defined by the choices you make from this moment forward. So walk into your future with courage. Walk into your dreams with commitment. The world is waiting for the version of you that is unstoppable, bold, and unapologetically powerful. This is your time, your turn, your chapter. Never doubt your potential, never silence your passion, and never forget the truth that brought you here. Your life changes the moment you make a new decision. Until next time, keep growing, keep fighting, and keep becoming the person you were meant to be. This is just the beginning.